century was a bleak tale. Malnourished, impoverished, and forgotten, Verne's hero one day collapses in the street and is left to die. When Verne sent the manuscript to his editor, it was rejected as too far-fetched. Like much of his fiction, the book was inspired by real life. Verne's own time in Paris as a young man. Sent there to study law at age 20, Jules was meant to follow the family business. But a career in law was the last thing on his mind. Paris in the 1840s was like Berkeley in the 1960s, a hotbed of radicalism, the bohemian mecca of the 19th century, and the place to be for an aspiring writer.
There are no intellectual rivals to Paris if you're a French theatrical dabbler or wannabe novelist, so it was the place to go. Bohemia was invented by guys in that period, and so they were probably the first self-conscious literary counterculture. It was a very seductive milieu, and it was the only place in the world where that was going on.
Verne plunged into this world and joined a group of like-minded young writers, artists, and poets. They called themselves the 11 Without Women. Inspired by his new friends, Verne gave up law and began writing, not novels, but plays. At the same time, he developed an obsession with subjects of little use to a playwright: geology, geography, astronomy, and math.
He started collecting facts fairly early on, long before he invented science fiction, and I don't think he knew why he was doing it, except at perhaps some instinctual level where his creativity was reaching out for the facts on which it could build. In the end, he had about 20,000 index cards full of interesting facts.
Verne's true future now loomed before him, but a hasty marriage almost ended his career before it even started. To be a better breadwinner, he left the theater for the French Stock Exchange. He hated it. Trapped in reality, Verne sought escape in fiction.
I think what he was looking for was a means of earning a living that did not require him to go down and sell stocks. And instead he could do the things that he was really interested in, which was basically things like geography and cool gizmos.
Verne's first fantastic voyage was inspired by a daredevil friend and a flight of fancy into the unknown. Jules Verne's first bestseller was A Case of Art Imitating Life. Its inspiration was a pioneer photographer and daredevil balloonist named Félix Tourneschon. Like other pop stars who grow larger than life, he adopted a single name, Nadar.
Everyone knew him, he was hugely famous. Everyone liked him, he was funny, he was interesting, he was a delightful guy. Nadar risked his life repeatedly. He was a swashbuckler.
My belief is that Jules, the moment when his eyes opened to the possibility, the magic possibilities of science opening the world up, was the moment when Nadar showed him his drawings for his balloon.
Professor, can't you do something?
For 6 long years, Verne had spent every spare moment letting his imagination run wild. The result was a page-turner like none had ever seen.
Enter the forbidden city of Timbuktu.
5 weeks in a balloon established the hallmarks of Verne's unprecedented brand of storytelling. An alien frontier and a futuristic invention to explore it.
Ride out the dreaded Simoon of the Sahara.
Because it was also factually convincing and written in this slightly dry style, people thought, it seems to be real. And once he'd created that impact on people, gosh, I can produce something that I know I've made up and they take to be real or want to believe to be real. He knew he was onto something.
The book was a runaway success. Sales soared even higher when Nadar launched a huge balloon over Paris as a publicity stunt. Signed up by the publishing magnate Jules Hetzel, Verne could at last quit his day job.
Here was a guy with a troubled childhood and an unhappy marriage and a miserable career as a middle-aged stockbroker who had the courage to throw it all over in pursuit of a really radical literary vision, a kind of writing that, despite some precursors, had never been done before.
Soon after, on the floor of the stock exchange, Verne made an announcement.
I am leaving you, my friends, for I have written a novel of a new style.
A new style his publisher dubbed The Extraordinary Voyages. It was the fulfillment of a dream Verne had nurtured since childhood. A time when he and his brother Paul would marvel at the wonders of their day, or pretend to discover exotic lands. Now, Verne had fused these childhood passions to produce a new type of literature: science fiction.